It's a little strange after we've gone 9 straight weeks that we have a week off, but I think it's a nice thing for our players. I think we got a few guys that are beat up and banged up that play a lot of snaps during the game that they'll really benefit from the bye week, and hopefully that's the case and that we don't lose our edge going into a week from now.
Coach, what would be the plan to keep them loose throughout the bye week?
Well, we're going to practice today and Thursday. We met with them yesterday, but we didn't practice. We'll practice a lengthier practice than we normally do today. Tomorrow they'll lift weights and we won't practice. Thursday we'll do the same thing, a lengthier practice than normal. Friday they'll lift weights, and then they're off the rest of the day. Friday they'll lift weights in the morning. They'll be off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we'll go back at it on Monday. This late in the season, you need to practice them just enough so they stay sharp, but you don't need to practice them very much because of the number of reps they've had.
What will the nature of practice be, Rocky? Will you work on Wyoming packages, or is it more kind of a refresher, maybe addressing fundamentals?
Mostly it's us against us. I mean, we'll do some one-on-one stuff that we haven't done, receivers against DBs, O-line versus D-line, linebackers versus running backs. We'll do some one-on-one stuff that we haven't done since training camp. We'll do some team against each other, limited, but we'll do some team against each other. We'll do pass skelly against each other. We will have a period, not very much, but one period a day where we actually work on Wyoming stuff, but it's only a 15-minute period. A normal day, we'd spend 40 minutes on Wyoming today. So the extra 15 minutes we'll spend on Wyoming, the rest is us against us.
Rocky, would you prefer not to have a bye week considering a 5-game winning streak?
No, I think it's the right time. I mean, if you had the perfect scenario, you'd play 6 games, have a bye week, and play 6 games. But I think we're sore, and I think we're beat up, and I think we're tired. So I think it's good.
Can you give us sort of a mid-season assessment? You know, as far as where you think the team's at and where it's going.
Well, over the last 5 weeks, we've played pretty good football, so that's exciting. You know, the first 4 weeks, I don't know if that was good football or not. Obviously, it wasn't because we didn't win. In the last 5 weeks, it's been pretty good football, and we're getting better as we go. Our quarterback's gotten a lot better each week. We're moving the ball better on offense. We're running it better. We're throwing it better. We're scoring more points. Other than the first half of the Colorado State game, our defense has played really well. They didn't in the first half against Colorado State, but the rest of the time they've been playing pretty well. So right now we're a pretty good football team. As long as we can continue to do that, we'll have some fun things to do near the end of the season.
Was there something that clicked to turn this 5-game win streak on, or has it just been development of the season?
I don't know if there's one thing that you can say. I think that the players maintained their attitude, and they kept playing hard and practicing hard. And then we probably got a couple lucky breaks against Fresno State, and we won that game, and confidence allows you to get better. You can't get better without confidence, and the only way to get confidence is have some success. So they had some success, and they got their confidence back, and now we're playing at a higher level.
You've got 3 guys that were named to the All-Mountain West leading categories per se. Can you comment on those guys and their success?
Well, I mean, I think that everybody knows that they're good players. I mean, our kicker, Donnie, was picked as the preseason all-conference special teams player, and he's a good player. 54 yards, I told him it was good from 64. That's in high altitude, though. I don't think he'll kick a 60-some yarder at sea level, but and DeMonte Casey's had a great year, and everybody knows how Pumphrey is. So I think what's cool is they all 3 got it, and that doesn't happen very often. That's a pretty neat deal.
Rocky, Donnie's consistency, I mean, he's had a couple of bad kicks, but I mean, he's been pretty darn consistent. Is that, as you go into this final stretch and you go into probably the championship game and a bowl game, how How much of a difference is it for you as a coach to know that you've got a guy who can make something happen?
That's an easy answer. All you got to do is go 2 years ago, where we did not have a kicker or did not have a consistent kicker, and we went for it on fourth down a whole bunch of the time. And it was an easy choice because we couldn't even make an extra point. How could we make a field goal? So it was a very easy choice. Now we have a good kicker, so most of the time we're going to kick it, unless there's some reason not to kick it, we're going to kick it. And so now the complaint is we're being too conservative. We don't go for it on fourth down enough. So you're never right. You're never right. But by the critics' estimation, since you have a good kicker, you do it more by football 101. You do it football 101 now when you kick because you have a good kicker that can make it. But there are some complaints that we're not aggressive enough, that we're not going for it on fourth down enough.
On that topic, will you still Sunday attempt a game with never punting and always going for it on fourth down?
That's you and I've talked about that. I do believe that. I think it's a great idea. So when I've decided that it's my last year of coaching, you are going to see a game where we are not going to punt. I'll promise you, when I know it's my last year, because as soon as I do that, if we don't win, I'm getting fired. So I might as well wait until it's my last year anyway. So I am going to do it, though, because I do believe it's a good idea.
Man, we're going to hold you to that.
How will you know when it's my last year?
When you do it.
That's right. That's right.
We'll ask you right after the game. So it's your last year, huh, Rocky? Short yardage situations. We talked to Jeff about this a couple of weeks ago. You guys haven't, I mean, there have been some goal line situations, some third and shorts, where you guys haven't gotten it done either right away. Is that something that needs to be worked on? And what are your thoughts about?
It's always a concern when you don't make third and short. Offense should have an advantage on third and short. And it's always a concern when you don't make it. That's one of the reasons early in the game last week that we went for it on fourth and short at the goal line. I mean, you got to prove to your players that it's important that you can do it, because there's going to be a time that we have to make one of those to win a game. We either keep the ball and run the clock out, or we have to continue a drive to score the winning touchdown. So you have to put them in those, whenever you get a chance, you have to put them in those situations. And you have to make a statement that you can make it on fourth and short or third and short.
What's been your view of not getting it done when you guys haven't got it done? What's
well, my view is it's always at the line of scrimmage. Whoever dominates the line of scrimmage in that play, whoever penetrates or get knocked backwards, the offense wins if they knock you backwards, and the defense wins if they penetrate. So it all comes down. I don't ever, every once in a while it's a running back's problem because he doesn't run it up in there. He tries to bounce it or something. But most of the time, it's the big boys up front that decide whether you make it or not on third and short.
And that's, I mean, obviously they've been blocking pretty well otherwise. So is it?
But they're blocking completely different defensive scheme.
Yeah.
Everybody's scrambling at their knees on short yardage instead of standing up. So they're blocking a completely different scheme on defense.
You guys always want to improve in every area, I realize. Is there a certain aspect of the team now or parts of the team that you're most concerned with improving as you guys go along?
My biggest concern is we're not a very deep team. So there are certain areas on the team that if we got hit with an injury bug, it would really hurt our chances of winning. I mean, there's a couple spots like that.
What are those?
D-line and linebackers, two of them. And I don't think we're real deep in the offensive line, even though we're one man deeper now that Darrell Green's back.
DJ has said pretty emphatically a couple of times that he's coming back next year. Do you take stock in that? Have you guys talked about it, you personally, with each other?
No, I don't talk to any of those guys about that stuff until the season's over. And then at the end of the season, I bring every senior in and tell them point blank which ones have a chance to make it in the NFL and which ones don't, and make some of them really, really mad because they all think they're NFL guys. And some of them get upset about it. And every junior that we have on the team that we think is an NFL prospect, we bring them in, ask them what their thoughts are, and if they want to investigate going to the NFL, we canvass the NFL. NFL has a service where they will canvass every team in the NFL and give you a rating on your players about where they will possibly be drafted. They send a letter to the player and to me and tell us what they evaluated after they canvassed the NFL. After we get the letter, we bring the young man in and we discuss the letter with the young man. And if he's in a first-round draft choice, we tell him he better leave. If he's a second-round draft choice, there's some discussion, but he probably should leave then too, because his chances of making that kind of money don't come around very often. After that, we try to convince them that the best thing to do is stay in school and up their stock with the NFL. So obviously we haven't done that with him. And I'm guessing that him saying he's coming back, that's a really good sign. Even though there are some people between now and then that are going to get to him and try to convince him the other way. And so I don't think it's a done deal. But him saying he's coming back and he wants to be here and break some records, that's a good sign, because that's a positive sign for us. We're coming from a position, a positive position when we're asking him to stay. Because I don't think we'll canvass the NFL for him too, but he won't be a first-round draft choice. He's too little. Even though he's going to play in the NFL, he's going to play in the NFL for a long time too.
You believe that?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I mean, Ronnie Hillman's doing just fine in the NFL right now. He's a little guy with great speed. Pumphrey's not quite as heavy as Ronnie Hillman, but he will be someday. And he's just as quick, just as fast. Maybe he's a little more elusive, and maybe he catches the ball even a little bit better. So he's going to play in the NFL, and he's going to play for a long time. But he's not a first-round draft choice because he doesn't have the size. Okay, now I don't know how high they'll – if he's a second-round draft choice, I'm going to tell him that he better leave. But if he's not a first or second-round draft choice, we're coming from a positive position if he wants, because he's already said he wants to stay. That's a good sign for us. You don't have to convince him not to go.
Well, it's also interesting because you hear some guys hem and haw and say, I'll wait till after the season and all that, but the fact that he's so emphatic about it.
If you want my opinion on that, that's because the young man has been raised and has good support systems at home. And I would say if his family or whoever his support systems are thought that he was a first-round draft choice, he would not be saying that. But he's got people that understand the whole big picture, and they're advising him. That's a smart. He's lucky he has those kind of people around him.
What about a guy like Jake Feely? Can he play in the NFL? Maybe in a different position. I mean, probably too small to play linebacker, but
I'm not sure. I'm not sure he's fast enough to play DB. But I'm sure he has his heart set on playing in the NFL. They all do. Even the guys that don't start for us think they're going to play in the NFL. That's just their mindset. And you don't want them to have a different mindset, by the way. You just assume they had that kind of mindset.